Thank you.
Sadiku, Sadiku, and I'm a daughter. I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand up.
Okay. So here's the thing with me concerning HR 40. Um, and please take this with the utmost respect. And but I'm gonna go right in on HR 40. I believe at this juncture, we waited 30 something years for HR 40 to get this far. Is has the um, problems that we have, the things that we know must be changed with HR 40, and we haven't got the edits and we haven't got the rewrite that we desire, that we know we need in order for it to pass, in order for it to be, justify going into um, forming the commission. We can skip right over HR 40 and get an executive order done by Biden, and that sets up the commission. Presidents have the ability to set up with an executive order. They can set up the whole commission to study reparations himself. We don't have to do this. Got to get through Congress. Got to get sponsored. Got to get through the Senate. I think at this juncture, I think we're wasting time with HR 40 and that we're not going to move. It's great that we know what needs to be done because then we can force the president or ask the president or however we need to maneuver the president into setting up a commission. We have to have the commission. And that's all that HR 40 does. It sets up the commission to study reparations, and we can get Biden to do that. The president can do that with an executive order. You know, I think we're spending a lot of times. I think we need to go twofold. We need to look at HR 40, keep it on the burner, but we also need to be forcing Biden to do an executive order to set up a commission. And that's all I have to contribute. Thank you for having the space in the room and allowing me to come up and speak.
Yes, sir. Well, just to interject real quick with what you said, we have actually been working for well over once Biden was the president or we knew he was going to be president. We've been working since that time to since like even with Ice Cube, and he was trying to sit down with whoever, and Donald Trump commission or his cabinet sat down with Ice Cube. We were trying to sit down with both candidates for president at the time, and trying to push reparations to both of them, and then talking about what's specific for us. And so this has been something that we've been trying to get EOs on. As you see, Biden gave EOs specifically to every other group other than us. We don't have any specific EOs for us, even though he knows that we were trying to have something come directly for us. So that that's that's it. That is what it is. Okay. Um. So getting
Also,
Biden
you know
to
what?
move
One more
us.
thing. One more thing.
Yes, Arthur.
people
Go.
always talking about executive orders. Uh, people miss the point that just like a bill has content, executive orders have content too. And so, what if Biden passes an executive order or writes an executive order whose content is no better or maybe even worse than that of HR 40? You have to be careful of what you're asking for when you're talking about an executive order. That's all I got to say on that point.
Okay. Thank you, Arthur, for that. Next, I think it's Amia. I'm a daughter. I'm sorry, Logic. You were in there somewhere, and
I
let me
kept
go,
getting knocked
Amia.
off.
Let me go. You keep getting knocked up. I'm sorry. Amia. Then let me go with Logic. The Amia. Then I'm a daughter. How's that?
All right, cool. Because I got to go back into work in a minute. Thanks. So, I heard a lot. A lot was good. A lot I'm having trouble understanding, but that's okay. That's why we do this education. I'm glad you and Arthur have did this room. We've been doing HR 40 education for like 2 years, right? From Be the Power we broke the legislation down. It's been continuously breaking the legislation down. We've been running rooms on Clubhouse. And so like the people, we're rooted in our position in our opposition of this bill. Anyone who wants the support of our group would say, I need to champion their opposition to this bill. You understand? Because that's what a democratic republic is about. And so we are not like emotionally in opposition. We're fundamentally opposed to the bill for the very reasons Arthur and Ross articulated in this breakdown, and that have been articulated and echoed for a couple years. And so what we must understand is that first and foremost, we cannot look at this as like HR 40 is all we have. There's a lot of options a legislature has at their disposal, and there's a lot of different strategical things a candidate can do to get support. Now that may be hard, and representing our particular group may be hard, and it's one of the hardest things you'll ever do in our life because of our political positionality. But if that's what you signed up for, you have to be rooted and committed to doing that, because this is the hard fight. You understand? And so what was there before John Conyers wrote H.R. 40? So we can't say this is all we have, because we always have a litany of political options and that we can introduce, that we can support, that we can create. We have to use our political imaginations, right, and think as political tacticians. And as a constituency, we have to demand the proper representation. We cannot yield to those who say, if we want certain things, and so does anybody running for any political office. But if you are dependent on us to install you into power, then you have to represent us the way we want to be represented. That's what our people have not been doing for a long time. We've let people like Maxine Waters and all the people in the CBC say, vote for me because I'm black, and I'm the only black person running. If you don't vote for me, you're going to get a white person. But what has that gotten us? We cannot continue to do the vote for me because I'm black, or vote for me because I say I'm Adolf. No, we need to see, are you a winner? Can you win? And if you, and not only that, but do you understand the plight of your constituency, and can you represent it? And will you be committed to championing what we want? Because the will of the people is what you're supposed to be representing. So what does my constituency want? That's the type of representation.
All right. Thank you, Logic. Appreciate it. I think his phone broke up, but it's been 2 minutes, so appreciate that information. I'm a daughter, then Osric Pratt. I'm a daughter. 2 minutes.
I think you put a meal before. I think you had a meal before me.
Amia, I'm sorry. I apologize. Look, I didn't see your hand up. I've totally forgot. I apologize, Amia.
Oh no, Ross, you're fine. I had took it down. So very quick. Just guys, the jumbotron I put up. Dr. Darity, he had to leave. He had a meeting at 12 noon, but he did want to speak. And I was getting like cut out every time like I would come into your space, Ross. It would like cut me out, and I was not able to get on. But just focus y'all's eyes on the jumbotron. It has the information that he wanted to say, but he couldn't. All right, that was it. Oh yeah, thank you, Ross. Thank you, Angie, and thank you, Arthur. Y'all rock.
Thank
Uh,
you.
Thank you so much. Okay, guys. Yeah, I wish that I'd have known or seen Dr. Darity, because sometimes this thing acts kind of hinky and crazy. So, okay, make sure you check the Jumbotron. Dr. Darity had made a tweet, and he said, since this is public, he must speak. The difficulty here is HR 40 does not promote pure reparations. If enacted in its present form, it will empower NARC and COBRA to, and then let me see, to pursue their agenda. Okay, so um, all right. Next up, Osric Pratt. You have 2 minutes. It is 12:20.
Okay. All right. Cool. Peace to everyone. I think everyone here agrees HR 40 is problematic, but that's why we have Darity to sit on the commission. And for whoever else is on that commission, or I'm sorry, and that's why it's important for us to fight for whoever else is on that commission. And it's really important for everybody to understand the momentum is now. So if you understand that you're going to come with, if you understand that, then, we need to come with a diplomatic approach. Business, diplomatic approach, your business mindset kicks in, and the leverage you have kicks in. Now, the fact that Warnock doesn't support it, this is Tamara's tool to unseat Warnock. And we know it's a fight in the Senate, but in every fight, you got to use momentum. We don't control the momentum. That's God's plan. So when it reaches the Senate, the world will see action must be taken. That's the momentum that we need and support that will be undeniable. And just to be honest, that's what Black Lives Matter did. That's all I really wanted to say.
All right. And thank you. And Osric, in our breakdown of everything, we went into Dr. Darity in and of himself. We don't get to pick and choose who is on that commission for HR 40 in its current state. The president of the Senate pro tempore, and organizations who have long time been fighting. Organization. Dr. Darity is not an organization in and of himself. He's not part of NARC and COBRA and the NAACP or Urban League. So we can't just pick him to be as part of that commission. And that's part of the issue. And that's one of the things he had stated even in his Jumbotron. I apologize. I did not see his hand up. I did not see that he had wanted to speak on it. But I do respect what you have said and stated. But yeah, there is no that's the purpose of us doing the breakdown, so people can fully understand. I'm not sure when you had come into the space, but yeah. So did anybody else? I didn't see any other. Angie, Arthur, did you see anybody else hand up so they could
I
speak?
was still waiting to speak.
hand would be up if she could see
Oh, I'm
hers.
sorry. Who was waiting to speak?
I'm a daughter.
I'm a daughter. Go ahead, sis. It's 12:23. You have 2 minutes.
Okay. Basically, I want to thank you again for having this space, and wanted to just ask. I wanted to kind of get away from the political side of this because um, the question I have is based on what we read in the actual HR 40. Thank you for reading it all the way through because I hadn't read it all the way through. But what I wanted to know is if you plan to have next steps, and if so, one of the things that we should push really hard back at and for is we need to know what the vetting process for these agencies, consultancies, experts, what will be their vetting process. We need to know what that is because not, and this might even help Tamara a little bit. We're not pushing against HR 40 per se, but we are, but basically what we're pushing against more than that is what we have read. What we have read is basically more of the same. You're going to reinstitute poverty pimping on a higher level, something we don't want. And we just need to know what this vetting process is for these agencies, consultancies, and experts, because I can already guarantee you that they have been taking notes and data and all of the research that all of our organizations have provided on these social media outlets. They have it all. They have their assistants in our spaces, in the rooms. I don't have Clubhouse, but I can guarantee you they do. And those everything that they would produce is we already know. They already have it. I have not seen one new thing they have produced, one new thing that they have produced at all in 2019, 2021, now 2022. They don't have any new papers. And if they do, show them to me. I didn't see them. So all I'm saying is we just want to know what the vetting process is. If, Ross, you decide to do a next steps. These are some of the things that I would like to see. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Unfortunately, I believe, and I'm sure Freedmen would concur, we deserve representation by Freedmen for Freedmen, due specifically to our lineage. Only people that can stand in our shoes can bear testament to what we have generationally gone through in this nation. Only we can represent who we are as freedmen. No one else can represent us or be a strength to our repair but us. So therefore, HR 40 is trash. We need reparations now, especially during this crucial time of a pandemic. Thank you.
All right, tell the truth. You're on the stage. Did you have a question or a comment? And it would
Yes.
take 2 minutes, please.
All right, thank you. Well, my comment is very straightforward. It's extremely clear to me in my 63 years that there is absolutely no establishment desire for anyone who is anything close to a reparationist being in any room of power. Therefore, if I can't get my car, which is disassembled, assembled, there's no point in me considering myself in the race. So we will have to unify and make it make sense. HR 40, we know is a piece of trash, but guess what? A lot of us drive to work in a piece of trash every day. Without that trash, we would not be getting to work.
But when that piece of trash is a trick bag, you have to question that piece of trash that you're being given. And I
Well,
question
that's
that
why.
piece of trash in the form of HR that's being given.
Well, that's why I have to have a vision that says I can convert this piece of trash. I can restore. I can do whatever it takes to make it a winning vehicle for me. I feel like our people. We have a lot of people who are at that point where, if I make a biblical reference, where the true believers were told, listen, we got to do a little calling here. So you're gonna have to go through the crowd and eliminate those that are dragging us down. Now, I'm not talking about us destroying our people, but we have to go after the hearts and the minds of our people, and we have to do some culling there. We cannot have people who wear black skin, but they're not in it for black people. And I'm talking about black people who are freedmen. I'm not talking about all these fakers and shakers, these frauds and phonies. So,
Right. I understand, sir, but let me ask you this. When did you get into this space to listen to the reading and the breakdown? Hello, tell the truth. Okay, it's kind of sounding robotic on my end. Angie and Arthur, can you guys hear him okay?
No,
No,
he
I
breaking
can't.
up.
I
He
can't
breaking
hear him
up.
wrong. I can't
Okay,
hear him
sir,
wrong.
you can hear him okay? I can't hear him. It sounded
okay,
robotic.
look, I'm gonna pull over and make sure I
Okay,
can
you
eliminate
You,
some
you
okay?
go
noise.
ahead,
Yeah,
man.
you okay? You sound fine
Maybe
right
that'll help.
there.
Okay, so if I don't have a car, it's all over.
No, sir. I asked you. I'm sorry. I asked a question. I asked when did you enter into this Twitter space for our breakdown?
Unfortunately, I missed the beginning of your breakdown. I missed that. But I'm
I
saying
mean, how long have you been in here? Because we started at about 9:15, 9:20, something like that.
I've been in since
And
about
we
10:15.
okay, so that's a whole hour. We went and took until like 11. It was about 11. Excuse me, 30. About an hour ago,
Oh,
where we
I'm
went
on
in
a
and
different
broke
time zone. I'm
down.
sorry. So I will have to add an hour. Okay. I'm Central.
Okay,
I'm
so
Central. I'm
you got
Central
in
time.
about two. You're in Central Time.
Yes. Yes. So
Okay, so
I
you
missed
missed
your first
about
2 hours.
2 hours of our, right. We had a 2.5 hour breakdown where I actually, that's where my throat is kind of, but I actually read and we broke down this bill. We can't say you can just go and fix the tires and get the tires changed out. I mean, the entire car is a lemon,
This is
right?
true.
And I do encourage you to go back, because this is being
Yes,
recorded,
I look
to
forward
go
to that.
back and to listen to everything before coming in with a comment about a car. And I'm serious. It's like, it's so important that you understand what you're pushing versus what you're not pushing. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand
So
that.
it's important.
And
Right. So I mean, I encourage you to do that.
I will go
So if
back.
that would,
I'm not trying to cut you off, but I know you want to try and keep the time moving. If I could just wrap up maybe in 30 seconds so that I can help the flow.
sure, sure,
Um,
absolutely.
After 40 years of working with the special population, my specialty has been to take what others don't want in their classroom, which is interesting because I figured I'm not going to have any of those people in my classroom, but the Lord showed me different. And so the point is that you have to take what you have and make the most out of it. Now, I do not push HR 40 as though this is it's going to be all this and that. I agree. It needs to have teeth in it. I've said that, this is 2, 3 years old from my perspective. If it's going to get somewhere, it needs to have teeth so that things that need to be done for our people will be done immediately. When I look at the things that were done with a memo, with DACA, and these other quick fix.
Okay, your signal broke up, but I understand what you're saying. I'm just encourage anybody that got in kind of late. We came in about 9:15, 9:20, and started everything this morning on Eastern Standard Time. So please go back in and pull up the recording. I'm gonna let in political, then Josh, and we'll take it from there. Political, you got 2 minutes, sir.
Okay, I wanted to take this time to play something from that room that you spoke on with someone who spoke on reparations,
Yeah.
who was passed and referenced. And I want people to take this home and think about this when anybody comes to them towards them about HR 40 or immigrants, or excuse me, about Pan Africanism or anybody supporting them.
Right. You
All
said
right.
you'd take about three
So
minutes, so
I'm
I'll
going to go to
allow that.
Toomey, then I'm going to go to Matthew after that. Toomey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. All yours. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for letting me be here. And I don't know if Christian is still in here, but I'm a huge fan of him as well. I just wanted to say I'm a first generation American. My parents are from Africa. And it's just really disappointing growing up in this country to see the huge victim mentality that people have, because around the world, it's not like it is in America. Like, there's a whole lot of people who literally have to pay money to go to elementary school, middle school, high school. Here, it's completely free. Lunch is like $1 or $2.50. People are literally like breaking their backs just to go to school. And it's so sad how we're in a place where there's money. You can make money on TikTok. You can make money selling NFTs. You can make money doing so much.
Thank you for your commentary, but you're not in that space. This is Freedman space. Thank you. Ross, author,
Josh?
anything?
No, keep going. Not for me.
Yeah, I mean, Josh, I know that people were saying some foolish things. It's a lot of people that are not our allies. It's a lot of people that are against our reparations, but we can't focus on them and get angry and emotional. We have to be very strategic. We have to know what we're working with. I need to know if I go out on the front lines that what equipment I have and how it works. I can't. Uh, I'm trying to keep people in more of a um, uh, rationale and using that kind of mindset and understanding rather than emotional. So
No,
I
he's
appreciate
been
that.
great. It's been great. I mean, we've been remarkably troll free. So I think we're
Oh
doing
yeah,
good so far.
absolutely. Josh Gray.
Josh.
Okay, okay. I was muted by host, but I'm good now.
Oh, okay. You got
Yeah,
two
yeah.
minutes, Josh.
Okay, cool. Now, when I was listening to that, I thought they were going somewhere with it. I thought they were going to
They
say,
were. It was Freeman. They was about to go talk about Freeman, but Angie felt the
yeah,
need to mute
yeah.
everybody.
Um, where I thought they were going to go with it is they were going to say, well, look, this is one person that's on, as involved within Cobra or NARC. Then that would have been kind of relevant to the point that I'm getting ready to make is, in terms of situation. I mean, the analogy that was made about you have a disassembled car and you need to, or you have a car that's got a lot of problems, and but you still need to drive that car to get to work. Well, you also got to look at. I don't think that's like an analogy that's in alignment with the current situation. Current situation would be if there was a bus that was disassembled, that was a hard bus, and we needed that bus to get somewhere, or you can even say a car, but you're not the ones driving it, right? The people that are going to be sitting on that commission will be the ones driving it, and they're not interested in driving it to get to where we need to get to. They're interested in driving and taking all kind of detours over to places that don't have our specific interests in mind. And the reason why is because you look at the organization and it's full of people who are not our particular, that are not members of our tribe, or that are not freedmen. And so and we see that through their previous actions, through their rhetoric, through what they have on their website, and how they've been interacting with us before, that they're not going to be the ones that are going to be, as members of a commission. They're not going to be the ones that are going to be interested in driving us to the destination we're looking to get. So even if you want to talk about fixing the bill, I don't know how you will fix it to keep those type of people from being the majority ones that's on the commission that will instill their values, which are not in alignment with our values, into presenting, the determinations that we need to represent us in whatever the commission, whatever promote proposals that the commission comes up with. So I
All
just
right.
wanted to say, in summary, it's not just about the bill; it's about the people on the bill and about what their what their ideologies are, and how that's going to influence the proposals that we get from a commission.
All right. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate it. Appreciate the analogy, and thank you. Um, yeah, one of the, like I said, the reason for me, Arthur, and Angie doing this is so people know what they're talking about and know what's going on. I don't want people. I mean, if you guys have been in on any of my Twitter spaces, it's been about trying to get everybody to understand and use that higher intellectual part of themselves, which is logic and rationale. And it's like, okay, do you know what you're supporting, who you're supporting, why are you supporting it, why are you supporting this, that? The vetting process is so important, and we need to vet everything. In politics, one of the things I hope you understand is vetting everything is important. Don't ever feel like, okay, I can't vet this because this person told me to go along to get along, or I can't vet that, or I can't vet this. You got to vet everything, okay? Otherwise, you get dragged down into something that can be totally counterproductive and counterintuitive. And that's one of the things. Before anybody comes to me, being jaded helps, okay? Being a jaded individual, I'm not a nasty person, but I'm a jaded person. And it really does help you because you don't trust anything. It's like Missouri. You got to show me what you're talking about, put it in writing. And if you just go by someone's word or you don't understand, oh, let me see this, let me see that. And I don't care if they're mad. Think of it as you're about to buy an expensive car and they don't let you see what's under the hood. They don't let you kick the tires. You're not able to drive that car. You don't, I mean, and they just want you, they don't let you see what's in the contract and they just want you to sign at the bottom on the dotted line without reading what you're about to sign into. It doesn't make sense. You would never do that. So I want you all to be as knowledgeable as possible because that makes a strong constituency if you know what you're doing and what you're embarking on rather than if you're ignorant about it, right? So we've been talking about HR 40. Like I said, John Conyers wrote this in 1989, and here we are. It's been through changes and everything else since then, but we have to make sure that we know what we're talking about when we're saying HR 40. If it's problematic, then we got to expose it. I'm an educator. I handle politics like I handle business. I don't get emotional. I get rational. I get strategic. So I don't want people thinking, "Oh, I'm a mean person." It ain't about being mean. It's about being who I'm supposed to be for politics. I handle it like business. And I implore everybody to try to get to that mind state. It's not an emotional decision, ladies, gentlemen. It's not. It's about logic. I have people that are coming in that haven't heard the space, what we talked about, what we read for 2 hours. And you really need to do that. That's important. I mean, I went through it. It's kind of disheartening to go through 2 hours of something and then people want to comment. No, and you didn't hear what was said. I mean, Arthur did a wonderful, amazing breakdown. Angie did breakdown. And that needs to be taken into account. So I'm a daughter. Your hand is up. 2 minutes, ma'am. It's 12:43.
I know, Miss Ross. I just wanted to say, and you're probably gonna end up having to do it again if you want to. I'm not saying you have to, but I'm just saying it's been such a help. The other thing is again, I appreciate the time that everybody's spending to listen. My question is, we can't just let it stop here. We just have to go ahead and keep reading and keep making these spaces. I know for a fact that I'll be doing one on poverty pimping, and I hope that everybody come because I mean it's not lighthearted. This is real serious, especially if they push this through. And so I think the information, especially the education, is great. I hope that Ross, whoever somebody comes up with some next steps so that we can all be working together in our various states to try to stay on code and kind of push this out there because I'm about ready to run an Indy 500. When y'all talk about the cars, think about that same car and bus or whatever getting put on the Indy 500 racetrack, which is where white wealth is right now, and try to race it on there and see how far you get, and especially if they drive it. So, I mean, this could get deeper and deeper. So that was all I wanted to say, and I just hope that we take this to next steps and try to set some type of vetting or some kind of something to let them know that yeah, we're paying attention. We're paying attention. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna repeat this for my room, this room, and thank you. I'm a daughter. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you brought this to mind. In these Twitter Spaces on Clubhouse, that is not a place to even go over strategy. This is like an open forum. I don't know who's here and who isn't. I don't know if the pictures I'm seeing are the actual people. I see monograms. I see images of maps. I don't know who people are. I never, ever, ever go over strategy in a space like this, ever. And it's not wise to, because if I'm gonna sit here and play chess and I'm telling you how I'm about to capture your king, then you're going to do everything as an opponent, a person, I say one, is going to do everything that they can do to guard against that move. It just doesn't make sense. So, do I have next steps and what should be done? Of course I do. Will I expose it here? Of course not. I don't reveal anything in a space like this. This is educational. I'm not strategizing here. I'm just letting you know and everyone else know who does think to do something like that, that this is not a good format to do something like that on. I mean, it's in my word for 2022 and is vet. And I don't mean veteran. Is to go over and check everybody's lugs. Make sure you know who you're talking with, who you're dealing with, because in this space, you don't know. And even some people say, hey, y'all are my people. I see you in Twitter space and in Clubhouse, and you don't know that individual. I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm jaded. I'm truthful. I'm not about games. And I know that after being hit so hard, it's like going out and being, every time you leave your house, somebody's pickpocketing you, somebody's ripping you off. If at some point in time you're not going to leave your house, or you're not going to leave your house with anything in your pockets. So we got to be very mindful and very careful of that. And I'm just hipping y'all to some game. That's all. Next up, I think Yanni B and then Immortal. I think so. If I'm backwards, I'm gonna give it to the sister. Yanni B then Immortal. 2 minutes. Yanni B is 12:47.
Thank you, Roz. I appreciate that. I wanted to just say thank y'all for this space. I think it's extremely necessary and informative for somebody like me who's definitely here to get more information and to really just try to learn as much as possible. We need these type of spaces. One of the things that I've noticed, I was in a space yesterday, and this is, I don't know if it's like just new to me, but I'm realizing how much of a disconnect there is from people who are not direct descendants of freedmen and people who may identify as people of color or as Black. How we really do see things so differently. This one lady explained yesterday. She was like the one other young lady who just got in the group who was saying that she was a first descent or first generation African, and basically, how their experience from coming to the United States is really so different. Like, even if it was years and years ago where their family was being or immigrated here, it's so different than us who literally are the natives of this country, who ancestors built this country on our back. I think I'm really starting to see where it's important for us to really make that line where we can draw it and understand and say, okay, this is what we've been through and this is what we're fighting for, because they genuinely don't understand. And even if they do, one of the things is that I don't really think that they're as supportive because they're not direct descendants. They don't have that the bloodline and the pain and the hurt that we have. And this is something that, like I said, is very, very new to me. Like, I'm just realizing this. I have been in school, whether it be college or elementary school, with people who are and identify as Black people, but not realizing that I think it was Sadiq who may have said it yesterday, that we are genuinely a unique people like no other. And I think that these spaces are super important. So I just wanted to say thank you again for having them. And I'm here for the education. I appreciate anybody who is sharing their knowledge and the things that they know. Please continue to, because it is people out here who want to know, and sometimes we just don't. You know what I mean? We may have not had that access to that information, or we just may have not had somebody inform us. But please keep spreading it for people like us. Us freedmen is going to keep pushing to get these reparations, because that's what we're here for.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you
Thank you.
so much. Thank you so much, Yanni B. I appreciate you. And just to camel back on what you said, it's not beneficial for somebody who is not going to benefit off of our reparations, to that's here. I mean, it's an envious thing. I've never been to any country in the Caribbean, and they basically put us in the same position in their own country as we were visitors, we were tourists, right? They were looking at us as a means to acquire money, the U.S. dollar, because they were trying to sell things, whether it's food, clothing, trinkets. That's how they looked at us. They would never, when I went to Trinidad and Tobago, loved it, but they would never put us, an American freedman, as a Trinidadian. You know, we were a means for them to make money. So it doesn't make sense to me either why anyone in the United States, as far as freedmen, would put, and it's a sign of disrespect, to for them to even feel like they're coming in and above us, even not even on the same playing grounds. They want to come in above us and step on our backs to move ahead. So with that, I'll say, Immortal, you have 2 minutes. It's 12:51. 2 minutes.
Yeah, you did spend a lot of time going over HR 40, and I appreciate that. And so I want to tell you a couple of things. There's more, but I'll just leave it at a couple of things that I learned from listening to this discourse. And about HR 40, number one, it doesn't really specify the identity of the people who it's going to target. It's so vague to anyone. You could almost fit anyone in there. And number two, it seeks to establish a commission, which the wording in the bill doesn't give us power over who's going to be in that commission. So when I look at that, I begin to think about the non-Freeman, non-FBA person who was in the space and we had to excuse them. These are the people who will be on that commission if it went through the way that it's written. One other thing is it doesn't give an exact amount or any specification of what reparations is. And I know it's just a bill to study, but even with that, you should, even going into studying something, you should have a basic framework of what might be included as reparations. So thank you so much for allowing me to speak.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you so much. Go
I'm in
ahead, Angie.
agreement to that because, as far as I'm concerned, if reparations not looking at how banking institutions have canceled us out, how corporations has canceled us out. These are the things that an HR study, an accurate HR study, would take a look at. And these are the things that these institutions and our government denies us. And that goes right back to the protection. We as Americans deserve protection by our government from these institutions that seek to do us harm. And that includes the federal government itself.
Thank you, Angie. Divine, it is 12:54. You have 2 minutes, sir.
Thank you, sis. I just wanted to speak real fast. I just came in on Yanni B's comments, and so I just wanted to point out that what HR 40 and this entire, we know it's a sham, but this reparations movement, what it's exposing is that it's not that people can't benefit from it, because we already know there's mass studies that say systemic racism against our group has cost this economy trillions of dollars. So we know everyone would benefit. I think what the reparations fight is really exposing is that, one, we never really had true allyship with any other group outside of ourselves. It was always some levels of business arrangements and or abusive relationships, right? And so what happens is most of these other groups, when they come in, the one thing that becomes evidently clear is that the system of white supremacy and of white capitalism is built on the back of freedmen, right? And so what they understand is that as we get reparations and we remove ourselves from the bottom of this racial caste system, in order for this government and this society and this system to still stand, someone has to go on the bottom. and they understand and know that they're the ones that are next. And so, as opposed to fighting with us so that none of us go on the bottom, they're perfectly okay with us remaining the bottom as long as they can get some level of mobility upwardly. And they're okay with the current system because it's been in place for so long.
Thank you, Divine. That is such a great point. Also, we have to understand that if we're not on the bottom, then it's like it with anything else. Like, I just think back in the day when we were making those little sand, it was like a little sand thing in a clear bottle, and you put the sand on the bottom and a different color sand and a different color sand. If you take that sand off the bottom and just shake it up, the sand even on the top doesn't know where it's going to end up after it's been, shaken. So we're talking about a total disruption of this caste system that's going to be happening. So people, I mean, in that particular space last night, people were asking me to come in there. I came in and I listened, and I just heard one word: fear. Total fear. And the people running the thing, it was a white guy and a white girl, and the Cuban guy, and he comes in. Well, what are you talking about? I think you guys are victimhood. They say all kinds of things like that. But I heard their fear, not ours. I mean, I'm sitting there laughing because I'm hearing foolishness and fear from them, because everybody's afraid. Once you pull the rug from under, the caste system, you don't know if you're going to bump your head. You don't know if you're going to hurt your back. You don't know if you're going to end up on your elbow, your knee. The rug is being pulled out. And so what? It needs to be, right? So,
And
on
Roz,
that,
Roz,
yes, Arthur. Yes, sir.
just like we talked about before, every one of the white co-sponsors of H.R. 40 signed on to it because they know it's a trash bill. And on the Judicial Committee, Congressman Nadler and Cohen are two Jewish people they're there with H.R. 40 to make sure that it stays a trash bill. You got to understand that. That's what their function is.
Absolutely. Hey, Arthur, when we initially got involved with pushing for HR 40, because I remember we were at the HR 40 hearing in 2019. What
Right.
was it? It was very few. I don't remember the number, but it was very few congressmen who had signed on to relatively speaking. And I
Right.
remember calling my congressman and both offices, because they have a DC office and a hometown office in their state. So I remember
Right.
calling and calling to find out, and they weren't even taking my call. Like, what do you want? He didn't want to be in office anyway, and he's on his way out of there, thank goodness. But um, he basically, it was hard to even get them to talk about HR 40. Then when they signed it, it's like, okay, well, what do you mean by, what are you going to do in order to push this legislation anywhere else other than a symbolic gesture of signing a 32-year-old bill? Like, what does it mean to you? Because
Right.
he's not a freedman. He's not. I mean, and that's the thing
And
too. Vet people, and you know who they are. Then it's like, okay, well, does this mean anything personally to you, or are you just going along with the DNC, wave in order to try to gen up popularity? Hey, I signed HR 40, and
and,
he really didn't care about it. But the reason being because he wasn't an American freedman. Go ahead, Arthur. I'm
and
sorry.
the main sponsor of HR 40 is not an American freedman at all. Sheila Jackson Lee.
So we
You
need to
understand me?
understand that, right? And I was saying, looking at it, and if you look at the Congressional Black Caucus, where are the American freedmen, and why are they not taking the lead and taking this bill or I mean, I'm not saying this one. Yeah, but HR 40, why haven't they stepped up and taken HR 40 over themselves?
Right.
Because it's a trash heap? Yeah, probably. But why haven't they created other, an alternative bill that's better than what's been out there for 32 years?
Yeah, but the
That
main
makes more
question is
sense.
why. The main question, though, is what you just said, Roz. Why didn't a freedman take this over? How did this end up in the hands of a Jamaican immigrant? Okay, and see, this is something. She turns up her butt at reparationist people that are in specificity. She doesn't want to talk to us at all. She won't take our calls. She won't listen to our editorials. She didn't look at that video, the HR40 video that came out, I think more than about a year and a half ago. She doesn't want to talk to us at all. And I had a dream one time. I told Cynthia about it. She said, "Oh no, you can't do that." I wanted to put some Chicago style tactics on Sheila Jackson Lee. What I wanted to do was take was to those bowls that you use when you're giving somebody a car as a present, one of those great big bowls. You know what I'm talking about? And I
Yeah.
want to take one of those bowls and wrap it around a casket and drop it off right in front of her congressional office in Houston. And when the bomb squad gets there, they open it up and it's filled with copies of HR 40. Cynthia said you can't do that. I said, well, I didn't see any legal reason why you can't give somebody a casket. It's just a gift. But, those are the kind of things that go through my mind because I'm so angry at her and this whole narc and cobra Pan-African got their fingers all in our domestic business, ruining this stuff.
Right. I mean, they basically, are taking Conyers' vision and just bastardizing it. And matter of
They
fact,
just
like I said,
bastardized it.
we sat here and did a 2 hour. I guess it was 2 hour because we didn't start on time because we needed more of you all to come in. But it was a breakdown of what HR 40 was when we went page by page and the reading and the breakdown and the issues and problems that it is. So definitely, I don't see any other hands up. Do we have any other hands up? I thought I saw someone, but I don't see anyone. But if you have any kind of questions or comments, a boogie, you have 2 minutes. It's 1:03.
Yes, peace of reparations to the room. Thank you for having this space. Um, man, I didn't heard so much that I wanted to speak on that I can't even get my thoughts together, man. I'm just grateful for this space. Y'all are my tribe. I feel like I'm speaking to my brothers and my sisters and my aunties. I'm just here to continue this learning and continue this work. I'm down for it. I'm supporting our candidates. I'm donating. I'm trying to phone bank for them. I'm trying to do whatever I can to make sure that we push this movement forward. I've been on this. I've been in all these Twitter spaces. I done seen everything from how Tamara went into all them spaces with them people last night. I was in the space last night. I was trying to get our people over there to the space. So, man, I'm just doing what I can. I'm using my superpower to network so we can, try to move this thing forward. But man, I just heard so much today. And look, I'm just here for the work. I hope y'all here for the work. I'm calling everybody in my phone my phone is full of freedmen. So look, I think we are those people. Like we can't look to these people. We are those people. We are those people that need to be in those offices and taking down Sheila, whatever her name is out there. I've read the bills out there in California. I think they're doing great. We need to support our candidates out there. We need to take her down. We are those people. I feel like we are those people. Or maybe I'm just speaking to myself right now. Maybe I am that person for my city. I'm from Chicago. My people are freedmen. I have done my lineage. I know everything. I know where I come from. So, man, I just hope that we continue to do these spaces and, just recognize that we are those people. And I yield my time.
Thank you, A Boogie. I hope I'm saying your name right. And Yanni B, you guys are the reason for me. I mean, you guys inspire me to continue to do educational spaces because I know I know people need it. I know our people need it. I mean, somebody may say, well, I'm intimidated by reading a bill. I'm not saying you two are. I'm just saying people in general. I know some people that don't like to read. Or some people are driving. They might be driving Uber or driving a truck or whatever during the day. They can just listen, and this is kind of like our audio book love letter to you all to be able to help you to understand what, and become educated and aware. Everybody has the links that are at the top on the Jumbotron for Fix HR40. That was Darity is fixhr40.org. I thank you, Political Workout, for of putting that up too. I think I put it up. Also, what Dr. Darity had stated, and also the link for Congress. That was, y'all gotta give me a little round of applause. That was my first time putting some up on the Jumbotron. Now I feel empowered, right? Um, so that's up there, and so yeah, we definitely uh, want to get those and go over it. I mean, when you go, HR40 is like 6 pages. It's got a bunch of signatures at the beginning of who is co-signing on it. But we definitely want you to go over that yourself, and you break out, print it out at home or print it out wherever at work, and then go over it with the highlighter as you're listening to this and say, oh man, these are the things that they're talking about, and discuss it with your family. Don't let it just end right here. And each one teach many, right? Share it with your parents, your siblings, your husband or wife or spouse, or however you want to pronounce it. Yeah, go over that and let others know, and make it if you want to get on to a more intimate space, and just get on there and go over it like in a Zoom or something with your family. I know a lot of people's families have reunions the over the internet, and maybe that's something that you'll spend 2 hours and just talk about, because I think it's important that you know what you're representing. I think it was somebody that had just come in that wanted to speak. I didn't. Angie and Arthur, did you see somebody's hand up?
Oh,
I didn't see anybody else's hand up. And if
let me
I
see.
did, I hope I'm not missing anyone. Um, all right, it is 1:08, and our space, I'm about to close it out. I appreciate those of you who were able to attend and listen. Excuse me. If you weren't able to listen, then I'm going to be posting and sharing this, and hopefully you'll have a better understanding, because I mean, not everything you're going to grab it right away, especially if you don't see the actual bill in front of you. But hopefully you'll be able to grab that bill from the links that were given in the Jumbotron, and have a better understanding of what it is, because my word for 2022 is vet everything. Vet everything. I don't want you, when I teach even my students, I don't go and say, I will make write something on the board really crazy, and they're supposed to know that it's wrong and how to correct it. So if I can do that with kids, I can do that with adults. I don't want to be wrong when I'm dealing with you all. I want you to know it for yourselves. Okay? That's what I tell them. I want everybody to know what they're talking about for themselves, and not just to rely on somebody else's um, knowledge and intellect. Okay, well, let me go to Ross or let me go to Arthur because they know better than me. That's cool, but we already did the breakdown to be able to help you to understand and know for yourself. And vet everything. Vet me. If I sound like I'm talking crazy, then point it out. Because I'll tell you, yeah, hey, there you go. You were paying attention. And one of the hardest things to do for this amount of time is to really listen. Listening is a skill, it's a talent. And I really want to appreciate you all for listening to us and listening to this breakdown. And I'm about to close this space. You all have a safe and wonderful rest of your Wednesday.
Thank you.
Thank you.